Hi there, viewers. Today we will be talking about history. Oh, wait, no, too big of a topic. The Revolutionary War. Oh, no, still too big of a topic. The Intolerable Acts. That's right, viewers. The Intolerable Acts were a set of laws from England as a punishment for the colonists dumping their tea into the harbor. This is Channel F10 News. Recap time. So, they decided to press the bills on the American colonies in the form of taxes on their products. To them, this just seemed like a return favor. After all, they helped establish the colonies in the first place. Unfortunately, there are two sides to every story. The colonists were enraged that they were forced to pay these unreasonable taxes without any representation in the British government. They couldn't even vote. So, a small group of colonists dressed up like American Indians snuck on a British ship and dumped 3 boxes of tea into the Boston Harbor. Although the harbor will never be the same. Even though only a small group of people poured the tea, everyone in Boston was punished. Now we know why the Intolerable Acts were made, but what exactly were they? What did they enforce? The Intolerable Acts were not just one punishment, but 4. The first act was to close the Boston port. They would open up the port again after the colonists paid for the tea that they had destroyed. But since the Boston Harbor was closed, they couldn't trade, so they were cut off from a lot of money. The second act made it so that town meetings couldn't be held without the governor's permission. Third act was that any British soldiers or officials who were arrested for even murder wouldn't be punished in the colonies. Instead, they would be sent to England for their trial. And sometimes they would even get away with it, because since the colonists couldn't come with them for a trial, they couldn't act as witnesses. So basically, they could do whatever they wanted. The fourth act made it so that the colonists had to house and feed British soldiers. Let's talk about the British feelings in all this. To break Britain, they saw the Intolerable Acts as just a simple punishment for the Americans ruining their tea. Well, some of them might not have realized the devastating effect it had on America. Think about it. If you were an English citizen and you just helped a colony get started and you spent a lot of money on it, but then you lose a bunch of money, wouldn't you turn to that colony and ask them for some of the money that they owed you that money? So why can't you just kindly request that money, and then they respond by destroying your property? Wouldn't you be mad? Now, England is overreacting with this punishment, but they're just making some reinforcement so it won't happen again. Now let's go back to the colonist perspective again. The colonists felt that they were being unrightfully punished. After all, it's just some tea. And by some, I mean 3 gigantic crates of tea. But come on, it's just tea. Besides, only a small group spilled the tea, and Britain is punishing the whole colony. Britain is just taking this way too far. Now, we know why these Intolerable Acts were made, their effect on the colonies, and the colonial and British perspectives. What did the colonists do in response to all this? Okay, the colonists realized that they couldn't just sit around and let England do this to them, so they held a boycott for British goods. That way, they wouldn't have to pay the British tax. They also requested help from neighboring colonies. They got donations, food, and goods. One thing was clear. This
was war.
It was unavoidable. These events eventually broke out into the Revolutionary War. Alright, here, I used a time machine to, live and in person, the Queen of England.
Greetings, citizens of Boston. I'm the Queen of England, and I'm going to enforce a few new laws. They will be called the Intolerable Acts, the acts that are going to punish you for your intolerable behavior. Good luck surviving with these terrible circumstances. Wahahaha!
Ugh. Oh, don't worry, that broadcast was very old. Anyway, let's put the past behind us. We're free. In fact, we're now very good friends with England. This is Channel F10 News, signing off. Don't worry, viewers. The world has learned to be a lot more reasonable. That kind of war won't happen again. Or will it? Dun dun dun!